feedback.
Hey guys, hi, my name's John Eric. I helped put this on today. Inspired by these folks from Hawaii Community College, doing their best to bring people together, to talk about food, to talk about food security, and beginning where it all starts, here in Hilo, in Hawaii. So I'm going to introduce Hanale. Hanale started a business called KaloMan Products, and he's been working for 7 years now with this? 5 years. 5 years taking kalo, taro, and bringing it to people. So kalo, high demand here in Hawaii, but not enough people are growing it. So Hanale has taken it upon himself to make sure that their supply meets the demand, and that the sophistication of today is connected with the tradition of kalo. So with that, I introduce Hanale up on the stage to talk a little bit about kalo and what he does.
Aloha everybody.
Aloha.
Thanks for the invite. Mahalo Jai for the introduction. My name is Hanale, like you said. I'm born and raised here on the Big Island of Hawaii. I was actually on Oahu for the past 10 years. I like to say I'm an 8th grade failure. Only went 2 years of high school and actually an undergraduate because of that. As I went to Oahu chasing success and income, that brought me back to the kalo. When you look at kalo, you find that it's a scarcity product and it's highly valued all over the world. It's one of the most ancient cultivated food crops in the world. The awesome thing is when you look at the Hawaiian culture, see, for me it's exciting with the culture here. Little do people know, in the 1950s, we're consuming 14 million pounds of kalo, whereas in 2010, it's 4 million, and in 2013, it's 4.3. Now, some of these numbers, might not make any sense, but when you look at it on a grand scale, basically what that means is we're far behind, and you can see some of that in the health of the people nowadays. So if we ho'i ho'i'ea, which means return back to your culture, we can find a lot of answers in the past. So the Hawaiian culture was amazing, because kalo, whether you're Hawaiian or not, is a superfood. It's a complex carb, a low glycemic carbohydrate. So now when you get bleached rice, bleached pasta, bleached bread, nowadays they bleach your containers. You get kalo, it's a great starch replacer. Okay, so now you can substitute your potato, your french fries, your pancakes, your dough. You can make pretzels and scones and ice creams and popsicles, which is what we do, which is probably why I was invited up here to speak. Recently I moved back. 5 years of operation is like 5 years in the backyard, couple years in the backyard, couple years in the trunk, couple years out of the garage. And for the past 2.5 years, we've been operating under the Department of Health's licenses and rules. Now when it comes to kalo, okay, kalo is amazing. Now when we're talking the Hawaiian culture, it's so revered because kalo was actually part of our ancestry genealogy. So supposedly we get Hawaii Loa navigating across from California about 50 BC. Okay, he has the child Wakea. Wakea has the stillborn child Haloa. They bury that stillborn and after outgrows the plant, the kalo plant. So what I have here is some huli. Huli is from the top of your corm. Okay, we're gonna be donating this today so you guys can go out and hopefully grow some of this. The huli is the top of the corm. So when I get that corm and I cut this huli off, the amazing thing about this huli is this can last me generations, 500 to 1,000 years, if I understand how valuable this kalo huli is to me. So just like the famous story of Haloa, if you take care of Haloa, Haloa will take care of you. So this corm can literally grow for as long as somebody will take care of it. When you plant this corm, this ha or this huli, it'll grow a corm, which we know as kalo. It'll grow the ha, which is the stem, and the luau, which is the leaves, which we like to eat. That is year-round edible foods in many different ways based on how you plan to eat it. Now, ohana is actually coming from the offsprings of the kalo plant, which some of you might already know. That's all the oha that's coming off the sides of your main corm. There's 6 to 10 ohas per harvest, which is approximately 9 months, just like a child or a baby. Okay, if you want to let it grow longer or bigger and go from about 5-pound corms to 15-pound corms, as long as your soil or your lo'i is not cooking your taro in the ground, you can get it that big. Later on, it'll start to sprout on its own. I literally cut the huli off and leave it on the side, and it'll stand itself up by its roots. It'll find its way towards the sun, and it'll literally grow in almost any terrain at all. I mean, any terrain. So you can take wetland or lo'i, and move it to the dryland kula, or go kula and lo'i. The kalo is amazing. It's just like our human bodies. It'll correct itself, it'll repair itself, it'll do whatever it needs to survive. So now you eventually will start seeing it sprout, okay? So again, all these stages in this pots that you guys can just grab. I get about 80 to 100 back there. I'm a part-time propagator, part-time farmer, and part-time manufacturer. So I take kalo and I steam it, okay? So they used to use the underground oven. And what I do is I make kalo pa'a, the steamed kalo whole. And I actually get my boot right at the farmer's market right now. Okay. After that, I mill it with a corn mill, which is what some of our kupunas was doing even in the early 1900s, okay? With the corn miller, I get aipa'a. So this is still the kalo whole, but smooth. Okay, this is not poi or pa'iai. When you take on pohaku and you pound your steamed kalo, that's pa'iai. So my kupuna used to say pa'i, I go pa'iu, that means I'm going to hit you. Or if you paddle, you can pa'i, that means to hit or to pound. And ai means food. So when you pound your kalo and you serve it off your board, that's pa'iai. When you remove that kalo from the board to an umeke, one bowl, you mix it up with 30% water, rule of thumb, you get poi. Okay? 5 years in business, I never made poi. So you can have poi, you can have pa'iai. I actually serve and sell ai pa'a. It's right in between. I never pound, so I don't like saying pa'i, and I never add 30% water, so it's not poi. Anyways, in this stage, now I have control over my kalo. I can make pancakes. I can put them in the blender with dates and coconut water, make a smoothie. I can mix a little bit chickpea or garbanzo bean flour, make a gluten-free dough. Okay, I can use this taro as a potato replacer in my mac salad. Okay, I can use it in many different forms. There's straight coconut oil and garlic. And use this taro in this form. Mix vegetables in and make a taro veggie burger. So now we're still at the traditional stages or semi-traditional of kalo. Then we're going to do the most traditional pre-contact Hawaiian dessert. That's kulolo, when it was made of coconut milk, coconut meat, coconut water. Now we add on sweetener, agave, honey, maple syrup, and sugar. Most common is brown sugar. We use organic pure cane sugar. Most poi and kulolo we eat is from Hanalei Valley, wetland of Vailville. Okay, so we get here is on dry land, Wainaku, Big Island, Kalo, which is right here. That's the mana li'i, one mixed variety between the mana ulu and the pa li'i, the pi'i ali'i. Okay, so that's up there if you guys want to help yourselves. The key thing is this: it's very simple to grow kalo. It's amazing. Okay, when you leave it out, you can choose to use it how you want to use it. If you want to use the leaves. So if I had a roll of leaves, I'll cut the leaves off, boil them down, throw some coconut milk, a little bit basil, and now I'm already getting myself into a dairy-free pesto, okay? You can take the basil out and get them into an Alfredo. With the coconut milk or coconut cream, you can bring that cream in. You can substitute the cream or the milk, put some water, coconut water, and bring them into a paste. What I'm saying and what I'm talking about is from tradition to sophistication and being innovative with your kalo. Because one thing about the Hawaiian culture is there's innovative. Right now we like to preserve. That's when you watch stuff die or age, okay? We was innovators. We was the first people to complete a road voyage around the world. We was the #1 exporters of food per capita in the 1850s. We're the most literate nation in the world, okay? So you gotta be proud of where you are. And skin and blood does not mean you're Hawaiian. It's your aloha or your high level of consideration. Remember, in aloha is your highest power and your creator. And lo is that eternity and foreverness of that creator. And when you give your ha, that is your identity from that creator, your akua, your highest power for be here at this time. Okay? So when your priority is ha, that means breath. That's air quality. Okay, that's your spiritual self. From there you go into vai. That's your physical self. That's water. So when you respect air quality and fresh water quality, This level of respect is what Hawaii means. Ha is water, Vai, and part of me is air, Vai is water, and I is you. So Hawaii is deeper and bigger than where we are. It's who we are. That's the representation of a Kanaka, not race, a human being, okay? So from there, it's our consideration, and the rest goes on. Because when we respect air quality and water quality, then you get forestry, wildlife, migration, and rural sustainable agricultural land. From there, we can eat. And our kupunas used to say, if you don't plant, you don't eat. It's that simple. And you're not complaining on what's on the table. It's easy to make stuff taste good. But guess what? You gotta make stuff be good. Eat who you are. And that's all I can say. Eat the sweet potato. Eat the uwala. Eat the kalo. Okay? Eat the fish. Eat the pua'a. Eat whatever grows in your terrain, your region, in your season. So that's how I like end them. Simple science or basic blueprint to the macrobiotics or the resource management of the Hawaiian people. Eat within your region, your terrain, and your season. It's very simple. And farm. Start basic with lettuce and potatoes, which is fun. And eventually, if you cannot get into the bigger things, like a farmer and fisherman, you barter. So things could get expensive, but when you realize it's just the cost of good food being grown now, food is just cheaper if you're paying less. Eventually, when you start growing, you'll substitute your expense into a bartering trade, and eventually you're gonna realize that the smartest, most brilliant people in the world is a farmer. So thanks again, guys, for your guys' time. Mahalo for the invite.
Anybody else like to talk? Not just talk, share your spirit, share your love, share your heart, yeah, because food security starts with your heart.
Aloha.